The following is an overview of a multimedia presentation entitled The Dalai Lama and the Anatomy of Politically Correct Buddhism, based upon Stephen's chapter in Westmont University Professor Enroth's Guide to New Religious Movements. Trace the 14th Dalai Lama's reign of authority as the temporal and spiritual ruler of Tibet, and his escape in March 1959 under the cover of the CIA. Witness how, at the centennial of the World Parliament of Religions, the leader whom all eyes were focused upon was the 14th Dalai Lama, the God King of Tibet, who emerged as the pluralist Pope and darling of the media.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the exiled Tibetan spiritual and temporal leader, winner of the Nobel Prize in 1989.
Take a brief journey with the Tremontis, who originally were instrumental in securing invitations to Austria and Germany for the Dalai Lama, as they take their readers on a painful spiritual journey in their book The Shadow of the Dalai Lama, a journey that dismantles the West's idealized image of Tibet and takes off the pacifistic mask of the Dalai Lama, revealing a pantheon of warring deities and a skillful God King who still consults the demonic Nechung oracle in all his important state decisions. Questions are asked that test the press's love affair with the Dalai Lama. Was Tibet as utopic as we are led to believe in its feudalistic past? Discover a colony of Tibetan Lamas in Nazi Germany, and how Haushofer, more than any other advisor, challenged Hitler with the vision of world conquest grown from the soil of his studies of Buddhism. Grasp why Diane Eck, director of the Pluralism Project at Harvard University, states that Los Angeles is writing the history of Buddhism in America, and why Hollywood has become Buddhism's biggest voice. Hear how mass media has played a prominent role in seeding American minds with Buddhist concepts for years. From the film to the internet, Buddhism slips into comfortable living rooms across America via mainstream media. Trace the gambling connections working behind the explosive growth of Tibetan Buddhism in America, spearheaded by CEOs representing trillions of dollars in U.S. assets. What do sand mandalas and global warming have in common? Mapping mandala madness. Green dots represent a fraction of the 400 sand mandalas constructed by traveling bands of Tibetan Lamas. The red dots represent a global project initiated by Tibetan Buddhists in Bhutan, which have buried tantric bases in every state capital, every major river, lake, national park, sacred mountain peak, and sacred sites. The larger red dots represent the 60 museums who hosted Buddhist art exhibits organized under the Buddhism Project on the East Coast and the Awake Project on the West Coast. Is this more than culture? At the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, the Circle of Bliss, a major exhibit on Tibetan Buddhist meditational art, busloads of elementary school students from the greater Los Angeles region toured the exhibit. Plans are underway to utilize the art for introducing meditation based upon Buddhist art to elementary schools. Watch Tibetan Lamas in local museums teach young children to make mandalas, the children innocently unaware of their proximity to malevolent spirits, while Tibetan Lamas themselves recognize that dangerous demons manifest during the construction of mandalas, and in fact perform ritual offerings to prevent their own possession by these same spirits. Children were instructed in making these mandalas, actually making many sand mandalas, raising the question of separation of church and state. Does it also apply to Eastern religions and not just to Christianity? 8 naked goddesses at the 8 points of the Buddhist Dharma wheel, 4 reclining within the 4 directional gates, north, west, south, and east. Why? Well, it seems that the tantric technique for building the universal Buddhist ruler's power is the exploitation of female sexual energy. I recall speaking to one female consort to a Tibetan Lama in Seattle who was so wounded by the actual tantric sexual abuse by a tantric master she could not talk in depth about the experience. Dig into Buddhist writings and uncover the Dalai Lama's actual agenda, the establishment of Shambhala, a global Buddhist empire. Grasp the remarkable tenure of the Dalai Lama as God King for life in the context of America's political life, and observe how his reign has surpassed every president since Franklin D. Roosevelt thus far. Explore how, through the doctrine of skillful means, he's able to use his platform as a religious leader to achieve his political agenda. Will their movement pressure the U.S. to boycott the upcoming Beijing Olympic Games? The Smithsonian spent $6,500,000 of U.S. taxpayer dollars in Washington, D.C., constructing an exhibit on Tantric Buddhism on the National Mall, including Tantric art, a Tibetan temple, prayer wheels, a San Mandala, and hosted the Dalai Lama World Peace Prayer Meeting on the National Mall. A majority of the members of the U.S. Congress are so enamored with his demeanor and message of peace that they voted to award him the highest civilian honor of the land, the Congressional Gold Medal, signed by the President and awarded in October 2007 in the National Rotunda. Is there a Buddhist Messiah coming? What's on the Buddhist horizon? Catch a glimpse of the Maitreya Project that is capturing the attention of thousands of Americans who are supporting the building of a Buddhist Mecca in India whose statue will dwarf the Statue of Liberty. Some say that the Dalai Lama is the Buddhist Messiah. Who is this man of peace? Does he have another agenda? Who are the Tibetan people? What do they believe? What is it